All right, I got to admit, I'm going to feel a little bad giving my opinion on this bit of news, but I'll get to that. I'll get to why I feel bad about it after I explain what's going on. So Reggie Fils-Aimé was asked about the issue that a lot of Switch owners are concerned about, and that is dealing with saves of our games and having a way to back those saves up. Because if you drop your Switch, if you lose your Switch, if something happens to your Switch, if you send your Switch in for repairs, there is no ability to back up your saves. Meaning that if anything should happen, God forbid anything should happen, your save data would be completely compromised. There is no way to recover your save data. Now, your games are tied to your account, so any digital games you purchased are tied to your Nintendo account, so you can get your games back, but your save data will be lost. And this is a concern when you're thinking about games like Breath of the Wild. You know, I've sunk 200, I think 200, maybe it's only like 120 hours or so, whatever. I sunk, over 100 hours in the Breath of the Wild, over 60 hours into a game like Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I'm getting up there with Odyssey, and it's a bunch of you guys have hundreds of hours sunk into a whole bunch of different games. But regardless, if I had hundreds of hours or just 10 hours sunk in, I don't want to lose that save data because that means I have to replay all of that. And we saw this be an issue when the editor-in-chief of Polygon actually freaked out not too long ago about potentially losing his Breath of the Wild save data and how it affected his opinion of Breath of the Wild. So Nintendo's definitely heard about the concerns. So Reggie finally decided to address these concerns in an interview with Mashable. So here is what he said. He said, "You're talking to someone who has completed 120 shrines, and I think I'm at 400 Korok seeds and growing in Breath of the Wild. So I understand what it's like putting a lot of time into content and the thought of that content not being there. We are aware of the concern. Certainly, Nintendo is a consumer-oriented company, and we want to make our consumers happy. We're aware of the concern, and it's an area we're going to continue working on to make sure that we can alleviate some of those consumer fears of having a content-based issue. Because of the type of platform we have, it's something that is on the go as well as connected in the home environment. There are some added complications. It's not as simple as a piece of hardware that never moves and is always connected in an online environment." So what he's saying is, without saying the exact type of consideration he's talking about, he's essentially saying that the reason that they are not going to or have not confirmed that they will do cloud saving is because it does not solve the issue of your saved games while on the go. And he's right, it doesn't solve that issue. But you know what solves that issue? Connecting your Switch to the internet anywhere you possibly can. Let me just back this up a little bit. So I started off by saying that I am going to feel bad about my conversation about this today because I like Reggie Fils-Aimé. I think he's been a good representation for Nintendo of America, a good representative for Nintendo of Japan at this point, now that he has a position there. And I think, in general, Reggie is only allowed to talk about what he's allowed to talk about. He's usually really, really good at spinning things. But lately, whether it's through videos here or on our podcast, I've been kind of critical of the way that he's been wording things. And I'm starting to think that it's not so much him that I'm being critical of. I think it's just Nintendo. I think that Nintendo is overcomplicating issues that don't need to be overcomplicated. There are two ways to solve the save issue. One, you can allow backup saves locally via SD card. The card is already in the system, and Nintendo's against this because they've had issues with SD cards in the past and people jacking games and throwing game saves up online and sharing stuff. They don't want any of that happening, so Nintendo might be against doing that because of that issue. Beyond that, Nintendo's apparently against cloud saving because it's internet-based, but here's the thing. Even when you take your system on the go, most of us are not that far removed from a free Wi-Fi hotspot. And if we care that much about backing up our save data, on the daily, we are going to eventually have our Switch connected to the internet. See, the thing is about, while it's not a system that just stays at home, cloud saving is not only something that you could offer with a paid service. I mean, you're going to be charging people for online on a system that you're on the go. Like, it feels like a really weak excuse, if I'm being honest, to say that, you know, to essentially infer that cloud saving doesn't solve a problem for you when you're going to be charging for an online specific service on a platform that has games that have online functionality. It's really weird. Most Switch owners, I would venture to guess, connect their Switch to the internet probably at least once a day. The idea of cloud saving isn't so much as you will never possibly lose data. Like, if I take my Switch with me on the go and I put in a good 10 hours in the Breath of the Wild tomorrow and I drop my Switch and break it before I connect it to the internet, so my new save files never got saved online in the cloud, I only lose 10 hours. I don't lose the 120 plus I already spent on the game. See, this is where I find this excuse kind of weak. They should just either say they're going to do cloud saving or they're not going to do cloud saving. Instead of dancing around the topic and just saying, because of the type of platform we have, it's something that is on the go as well as connected to the home environment, there are some added complications. It's not as simple as a piece of hardware that never moves. It is as simple as a piece of hardware that never moves. As soon as you connect your Switch to the internet, the first thing you do is gather the save data and have it automatically uploaded. The save data is generally not that big, and it's easy to sync. Like, when you're at home, it can be syncing the whole time. When you're on the go, it syncs the next time you connect to the internet. There really isn't anything complicated about this. Internet is basically everywhere. If you don't have it at home, you're going to have it. You have it at McDonald's. You have it at coffee shops. You have it everywhere. You can literally, as I'm driving down the road, my phone discovers like 18,000 different Wi-Fi networks that are absolutely free to connect to. If people are worried about their save data, they will make sure they connect their Switch to the internet once a day to have their save data uploaded to the cloud. See, the thing is, the concern here about losing save data is entirely a consumer concern. And if you are pro-consumer, just giving them an option to back up those saves is something that consumers worried about it are going to take advantage of. Again, the other option, obviously, is just allowing backup saves via SD card. And we know that Nintendo doesn't really like doing that, so that's obviously another route they can go if you feel they should go that route versus cloud saving. But whatever the case may be, this is an issue. And it's an issue that is going to affect people. It almost affected the editor-in-chief from Polygon, but more than that, this is just something that we need to consider as it's time to stop the excuses. Now, we do know that Reggie said recently that Nintendo is going to have updates about their new online system in 2018. Well, I mean, I don't even know how that's news. This is the reason we didn't make a video about that, because, I mean, the system launches in 2018, so you're obviously going to talk about it in 2018. I don't think people are questioning that you're going to talk about it because you have to, because it's going to exist and release. They're questioning when you're going to talk about it and when is the system going to release and what are the capabilities of it. I know a lot of people chastise me for my criticism of their online system so far and that I should wait until they launch it, but I mean, why would I wait to be critical of something when there's stuff to be critical of right now? I mean, I don't see how criticism should. I don't know how suddenly paying for like the online app is suddenly going to make it better. I know they're going to have updates to it. There's going to be new features. There's going to be more games added. Note that like people who complain that I was saying, you know, the one of my complaints was that only one game supported. That was not actually any of my complaints. I never even brought that up one time. So yeah, I don't know. Another video for another day, but. Nintendo, the solutions are right there. They're simple. Just do it. You don't need to come up with some new, funky, crazy save system to try to make all of this possible that people aren't going to understand. You don't need to do the Nintendo thing and not listen to a problem that's already been solved by every other platform out there, including mobile platforms. And I know the Vita, as an example, that was a thing you take on the go, and that had cloud saving. So Nintendo, stop making a mountain out of a molehill here. Use the solutions that already currently exist, and I hope that's something that you confirm next year. Anyways, folks, I'm Nathaniel Rufflegents from Nintendo Prime. If you like this video, you know what to do. And if you dislike this video, hit that dislike button. Subscribe for more content. And folks, I'll just catch you in the next one.